Welcome to the True That Show, a show about lifepreneurship presented with wit, humor, and banter by Deborah Drummond and Caroline Blanchard. A lifepreneur is someone who's living life the way an entrepreneur runs their business. All in. Lifepreneurs are rock stars. Lifepreneurs are people who are brave, who risk, who live full on, who think out of the box, who win this thing called life. Lifepreneurs are around us every day. They are everyday heroes. Join Deborah and Caroline, these two stage-walking women who tell it like it is. You'll learn from the most incredible lifepreneurs who will inspire you to be the best version of you. Now here are your hosts.
Hello, I am Ginny Schuster. I'm with Contact Mapping, and that is a mini CRM. And my joy is connecting with people. Today, we're talking with Deborah Drummond and her partner, Caroline Blanchard. They are from Canada, so that's really exciting for us. Deborah and I met on LinkedIn. She is a leading accredited health educator. And a few things that I've learned about Deborah are she has spent the last 30 years as a leading accredited health educator. I think that means that she started at 5, maybe 6 years old. And she is the International Marketing Director at Neora. She's also a public speaker and recently an author. So I'm hoping you will talk about your book as well, share information about that. Thank you, Deborah and Caroline, for joining us today. I'd love to know how you got into this business, why it's your passion, and have you share some really valuable bits of information about your industry with myself and others today. So welcome.
Well, thank you, Ginny. It's such a pleasure to be here. And it's interesting because we kind of have a double story, right? So both myself and Caroline come from a big background of helping people, which I mean, you're in this industry and that's what you do all day, every day. And that's what we do all day, every day. So I think really, I think it really stems from that, why we both found a home in this relationship, in this relationship form of business. For myself personally, I started in this industry, and thank you so much for the compliment about being 5. I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what? When people are like, so you've been in anti-aging for 30 years. I'm like, who knew when I was 20, that was going to be a really good investment. That was going to be a great investment. But so yes, my background comes from a health and wellness background. And I actually owned and started 2 home party companies here in Canada, as they say, up here in Canada from where you are. And so I've always had a great entry point. It's part of the story that I wrote about in the book. The first time that my mom took me by my hand because she was a home party representative of a company. And I got to go and hang out with the ladies and listen to them chit chat about their life. And I felt all grown up at 8 years old. And I just had such a great respect for the industry and had such a great experience with it as being a child of someone. They never made it a profession. My mom did it very extra. Honestly, they called it apron money back then.
Oh, really?
So apron money, right? Help out the family. But it was really quite great. And Caroline has her own story of having to work for her sister and go deliver. I'll let her share that. But
okay.
So my first entry point was really being the mom or being the child of a mom that was doing this very part-time to make some extra money. And then in my 20s, I had such a desire for natural products to hit the marketplace. I was a little before my time, but I had 2 home party companies for 17 years. And then myself and Caroline met in this company that we do together. And we have 2 companies. One we do in the relationship marketing and one we do supporting entrepreneurs. And I'll let Caroline talk about the True That Media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my cue. So
there it is. Yes. Let's hear from Caroline.
Yes. So like Deborah said, we are working together in the relationship marketing industry. And when COVID hit last year, we were doing a lot of business presentation. Well, we had to move our business online like a lot of people had to. So we started doing Facebook Lives, doing a lot of presentation online. which was not our forte to either of us. But, you have to adapt. And that's what we did. But in a nutshell, when we would do business presentation, people were like, hey, do you have the recording of that presentation? You guys were so funny and you guys are interesting. And, I love the banter between you guys. And we were like, well, this was a business presentation. Did you get the essence of it?
Right.
And they were like, we love your dynamic. So we got quite a few messages like that. And then we started doing more regular Facebook Live. And I think that people really like the dynamic between us. And it's just, it's not something that we tried to do. It's just something that is really
into our relationship. Yeah.
We banter with each other. We're super honest. I'm a bit sarcastic, and I'm not gonna say much about them now because there's a few things I could say. But long story short, we decided, hey, why don't we do a podcast? Because we also have a lot of things that we feel we want to share with people. Excuse me. Of course, it's now that the voice goes, but we're two opinionated women. So we were
Is that the name of it? What's the name of the podcast?
The name of the podcast is True That Show. So we came with that because we wanted to talk about the truth, and we really wanted to talk about what's real. So the whole podcast is on lifepreneurship because Deborah and I went through a lot of different experience in our lives that, we find that lifepreneurship is really the base of so many things. And you don't necessarily need to be an entrepreneurship to be a lifepreneur. A lifepreneur is someone who will sees their life like they would as a business. They have a plan, they go for it, they're passionate, they build things, they face challenges. They have, they go through life with a plan and with
Is that true?
Yeah. And getting it through. And, a single mom going through raising her kids can be just as experimented, in our opinion, as someone who had a big enterprise. Exactly. So long story short, we started this podcast. I'll let Deb, round up the podcast, and then I'll talk about how we came to do, the real, put the company together, basically.
Yeah, no, it was.
And the book, is that how the book came about?
Yeah,
okay, so I'll keep on going there then. So we launched a podcast, and Deborah met someone who wanted to interview us, and so we started doing interviews, being interviewed about promoting the podcast. And then at some point during the interview, one of the interviewer was like, so what's in your near future? And Deb is like, well, we're publishing a book. And I was sitting there like, what?
All of a sudden your eyes get really big. Okay. And I'm supposed to go along with my partner and just nod my head. Okay.
Well, I say cool, but honestly, I had a wave of heat coming like, what?
Pressure.
But I say cool, and I was just like, And so I let her go on with her story, and then we finished the interview. I'm like, what is that? We're publishing a book. And she's like, oh, I wanted to say, there's this publisher that, and Deb always has intuitions or dreams. So she's like, I dreamt about something the other night, and then there's a publisher who called me the next day. So I have a project. We need to do an anthology. I didn't even know what an anthology is.
Yeah, I'm not sure I do. Okay, so maybe you should explain. Maybe I'm not the only one who doesn't know.
Go ahead, Deb.
Okay, so it's our part of our life is very serendipitous, and that's what we love about our podcast is we get to talk to entrepreneurs and lifepreneurs every day. You know how much fun that is. So yes, an anthology is a compilation. It's a group of authors in one book. And the original conversation that I was having with this publisher was really honestly about a book on aromatherapy that I had approached her with a long time ago as I was getting quotes. And she just called me out of the blue very early, 3 hours ahead of time, 3 hours ahead of me waking up. And she kind of caught me off guard. And within 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, we were putting together this big creative project of gathering women in the networking business, and how amazing and how empowering would that be if these women were really these big income earners were willing to share what it was that got them to where they wanted to go, because our whole business, and really being someone in business and mentoring down, is sharing information to get people to that next level. And we just felt like it was so needed in our industry, something very specific. So of course we did one for women, and it was an incredible success, which, by the way, my books just got delivered late last night.
Oh, great.
I can't even, I just opened this. I know. And so it was an incredible process. People are like, are you guys crazy? You got to gather 20. So it was 20 women in the networking industry and business of minimum 6 figures. So, busy women.
Yeah.
And from the beginning concept till the book being launched and hitting #1 on Amazon within 15 hours of being launched in 2 categories. Yes. My son is so impressed that we beat out Tesla. He's like over the moon. He thinks his mom's a multimillionaire, and we haven't broken his heart yet. But that project was 3.5 months from beginning to end.
That's fast.
Oh, yes, it's fast. Yes,
that is fast. Whirlwind. You have to remember, I was in the printing industry, so I saw how long things took to get them through the process.
Right.
No, and I want to say, like how things are going. So the publisher is like, we will write produced by who? I called Deb and I'm like, let's call it True That Media. She's like, okay, so we started that business because to have the podcast and the books and the publishing. So we started.
Isn't that amazing how all those things just kind of fit together, one right after the other like that?
Yes, absolutely. And we got to know what Amazon is, and we got to, create a speakers page, and we got to put videos together for that page.
Oh, wow.
It was absolutely amazing.
I think the interesting thing to all of that is that, and again, whether we're in our network marketing business or we're in this, I think that we're in the business of saying yes. And it was very interesting. Yesterday, that hit me really strongly. It's like, I have enough faith in this woman who I've done 11 flights, 13 hotels all through Australia with, who I didn't know at the beginning of that trip, who we came out friends. And that's interesting, right? Is that you have enough faith in someone and enough faith in yourself. I think it's faith in, like, I have enough faith in Caroline and enough bravery in myself to say yes. Because, now we're looking at, something that's very agenda based. Like, she's like, we need to do this. I'm like, okay. Like, we just say okay to each other. We create stress for each other. We get through it together. We're like, I'm like, what else are we doing now? And so now we're doing books for men and books for couples, and we're doing another book for women. And now this has become part of our life. And you couldn't have planned it, but it's having faith and bravery. I think that's been the key ingredient.
Are you the kind of person where you put pressure on yourself to make things happen? You like it better that way?
I've come to respect that I'm a creative, and that when I get a creative idea, if I say yes to that, I now have enough years on the planet to know it's going to push me into a place of tension. It's going to put me into a place of tension. So I'm like, it's called self-inflicted wounds, right? Self-inflicted business wounds,
that's self-growth. So you continue to push yourself in order to grow more. And they say, until you're uncomfortable, you're not going to grow, is what I hear you saying.
Yeah.
Well, we're uncomfortable a lot. Sorry, I was just saying I'm very, very uncomfortable. Couldn't be more uncomfortable.
And thank you, Deborah, for that. With friends like that, who needs enemies? Isn't there a saying like that?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, if everyone could be blessed enough to have friends like that, honestly, we would be in a society where everyone grows, because Deb is really someone who will take you and push you. And it's good to be pushed out a little. And, she does respect limits sometimes. But
did you catch that?
I did.
No, but we're also like working on another project that, when we talked about that with the publisher, she was just like, oh, that's a really tough one. But I just woke up one morning and I texted Deb. I said, okay, I need a diary that I like. She's like, okay, let's publish one. I'm like, okay. So we're
And
working on this. And then the publisher is like, you guys are crazy because that's probably one of the toughest job. And we're like, no, we're just going to design it and print it. And that's it. So I
wow.
think our philosophy to both of us is really the one of Steve Jobs. You know, when someone asks you something, say yes and then figure it out. And I realize I've been like that my whole life. So it's funny that you say, about pressure, because I've been told so often that it was procrastination, but no, now I understand that I'm productive under pressure. And since I work for myself, well, I need to find friends like that who will put in like,
And it sounds as though you found the perfect partner.
Well, and the part that I've come to love and respect and understand that was because I'm a creative person. So where Caroline's really been wonderful. And I also have been reading books, and I've had a healthy respect for systems and strategy in the last 36 months of my life, like I never have before. So it's one thing to have an idea, but time frames and push it. And trust me, this one pushes. When it comes to time frames, she's like, I'm like, are we sleeping? Are we going to sleep? She loves to shove dates really tight and create some tension. But, that's how diamonds are made.
Wait a minute. I thought I heard her say that you do that.
I do. I conceptually come up with it, but the infrastructure, and so she loves to push the date a little bit, but I have had a healthy respect where Caroline is, where she excels is infrastructure, like really the infrastructure of step to step to step to step. I mean, I couldn't even begin, and I don't even think she did know how much work it was going to be with that first book, just orchestrating, 20 authors alone. I mean,
Wow, 20 authors. So for your message, you've been into so much, and it sounds as though you want to help entrepreneurs. This is pretty much your next step in life, is what I'm hearing, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I think what we do is we help people that aren't entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs. Okay. We help entrepreneurs brand themselves as entrepreneurs, and then we help people that are making a certain income and want to move everything over to pure entrepreneurship. So we we offer support and supplies to entrepreneurs.
Well, here's what happens, I think, with a lot of people, and speaking for myself, but most people I find, they have lots of great ideas. Here's an example. I worked with some artists. This one gentleman in Colorado, we've got something like 50 or 52 14,000 footers. He was a wood craftsman, so he created all the mountains in wood hangings that people could have. He thought that he wanted to have those sold. So I said, wow, they're so beautiful. Let me go see if I can get some people to sell them. And I'll be like your middleman person. So I did that, but he gets stuck. And I think that stuck. You have this vision of wanting to be great and wanting to be an entrepreneur, but you get stuck and therefore you're frozen. So for someone like that, what would be your best message to get them to move to the next step? Is it what?
Caroline, do you want to take it, or you want?
I think it's very, this is it's a customizable, whatever, I can't say it. It's a custom answer for everyone, because no one is stuck for the same reason. And it's funny you say that, because these days I'm doing the Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation, and it's free, by the way. So go online and download it. It's to get unstuck. So we always have somewhere in our life that we're stuck. But the best advice is personal growth. It's personal development. And that personal development, that's where you customize it, that, someone can be on their level of deservedness. Someone can be on their level of leadership to work on that and better that. Some people can be into, believing that the result that you want can actually happen. When you say that guy got stuck and stopped.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have someone like having a really strong support circle around you. Because when I get stuck, I'll call Deb and she will push me out of that comfort zone of being like, no, that doesn't work. You said this, you'll do this. But when you don't have that, you know, our fight and our biggest enemy is all between here and here. So
almost
if you don't,
like an accountability partner.
yes, you do have that, but you need to have a real one that will be honest with you and that will actually push you out of your comfort zone. And personal development. Honestly, I think we nailed it here. You know, everything else can be customized, but it's personal development and accountability, being well surrounded.
That's definitely an excellent viewpoint. And it's nice to know that there are things that are free that people can go find. But what I did find recently is that some of these top earners in network marketing and in business, they have mentors and they actually have a budget for paying those people to help mentor them for, I don't know whether it's self-growth or push them or accountability, but that's huge what you're saying. Great input for people.
Well, Deborah is the queen of that. I was going to say, I'm lucky that I did find a mentor that we became friends, but go ahead, Deb, because she did that her whole life.
Yeah, people have asked me many times. I mean, I've had 2 businesses for 17 years. I had one company for 27 years. I've been in network marketing. And if you're listening to this or you're in network marketing, you're an entrepreneur, you know the truth. We don't need to like sugarcoat it here. It's yes. Funky. It's funky. You come up against yourself all the time. And the more you push yourself, the more you come up against yourself. I have been a huge advocate of putting a budget aside, even if that meant I cut money down on clothing, food, travel, socializing for counselors, therapists, business mentors, whatever. I mean, I just truly think if you want to get better in business and you're coming up against yourself, there has been nothing more valuable than talking to either a business mentor about the business part or the part. I mean, we didn't really have 20 years ago, if I needed to know why I wasn't moving or I wasn't attracting the right people or I wasn't, having success, I would literally go and find out what's under my rock.
Wow.
Like, is it my level of deservedness? Do I really think that I'm worthy of a multi-million-dollar income? Do I really think that what do I have to, when I was younger, I was raised by a single mom. We didn't have anything. Like we ate wieners and beans with no wieners. So I heard my whole life, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yep.
So right? Or we ate leftovers. It wasn't an option. We didn't, you came to love that. So I had to unwire that. It takes time and energy and effort. And so now there's books and podcasts and, master classes you can go to and all that, but still it's your head that hits the pillow at night.
Right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What great input. So does this book, you want to talk about the book?
Oh my gosh, let's talk about the book because that book is such a powerful, I mean, honestly, I think we all know in this industry, the book GoPro, the book that people hand out to people that want to take their business to the next level. And what we see with respect to what Eric has done, we see is that there's this compilation of these people that have poured their heart out, truth of what it's taken to get to where they go. And you can put this in the hand of someone who's brand new or someone who's been in this for 10 years. And they're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know my next step because we all get there. And this is, for me, such a compilation of hope.
What a concept there. The hope is you have to have the hope and the desperation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, and faith. So that's what the book is. That's what the book is for me. And also as a woman in business, I love all in business, but as a woman, I've been in business for 30 years. So in my 20s, it wasn't that easy as a woman to be in business. And so I think as respect to the people that have come before me and the people that are going to come after, I give great respect for some of these women that have been doing it longer than I have. And I think we need to tip our hat backwards. I'm always like that. You got to tip your hat backwards to people that carved your path. It's important, right? So I'm going to let Caroline talk about the book, because it's it's an amazing project to do together. And I don't think it's fair for me to just share my side of what I think the book is.
Great. Okay.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, it was a beautiful project, honestly. And like Deborah said, why you need to read this book is because you need to read 20 different stories of people that all went to the top and went to it differently. And it's every single woman in the book will give 3 tell-all. So her 3 tell-all secrets. How did she, that was very important to us that they share that. And it was very important to us that they shared their journey and challenges and how they overcame everything with vulnerability and truth. So the comments that we're getting from people who read the book is all like, oh my goodness, it gave me goosebumps. It gave me chills, because inevitably you're going to relate to at least one woman in the book, because it's really all different stories. And yes, some came from desperation, some came from desire, some came from, I want to do this and I'm going there. So for me, it's a book that I would have liked to have when I started in the industry, because I would have liked to read other women and, how did they deal with their family? How did they deal with mom guilt? How did they deal with, not believing in themselves and all of these things? And we see there's people in there that really went from rag to riches. And I know it's a cliche, but it is what it is. And there's other people that have always been successful, but they just chose to change industry. So it's really, like Deb said, it's a book of hope. And for me, what I'm the most proud about this book is that, the industry itself can be competitive, but we're all women coming from different companies that really all came together. And even us now, we're like 20 friends. We keep in contact. We have a mastermind group, which we never thought that would actually come out of that. But there's absolutely nothing but sisterhood in this book to really, we came together, we worked together. And, you don't have to be a woman to read 20 Powerful Women in Network Marketing. You can also be a man and have a beautiful insight into a woman's mind. So even if you have, a team that has women in it, you want to read how they're going through it.
Oh, good point. You want to know how they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Outsmart the men. No offense, I didn't say that. Oops, I'm sorry.
It's not we're not offending anyone. We're just speaking the truth.
Yeah. Well, women are brought up to do multitasking. When you stop and think about all the things that are placed on the woman to do, and it's almost like it's something natural that comes natural to women that, have to do a ton of things in order to make anything happen. So
I think it's very insightful that way. I think if you're going to do business with women and you're going to do business with men, I think it's going to be as important for women to read how men like to do their business so that you can be fully adaptive, right?
Yeah.
You have that adaptability to be able to understand past the Zoom, past the coffee, right? Yeah.
It's almost as though this COVID has gotten people to step back and really look at life in a different way, because basically overnight, life shut down for people. Mm-hmm. And most people are survivors and they want to know how they can do it. And they realize now that life is not necessarily about doing it yourself. And when you can get over the feeling of knowing that you can start to trust people, your whole world, in my opinion, I'm going to ask you guys, doesn't it seem as though the world starts opening up for you? Doors start opening up for you. Opportunities start coming. And it sort of stems from the mindset. So in order to get out of yourself, you have to really work on your mindset. to get that to start flowing properly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Think?
Yes. I think it's a combination of drive, desire, denial, mindset, skill set. I think it's all of it. And absolutely, this has been very much the land of a new opportunity. We're in a new era.
Yeah.
We're in a new time. And I think we're in big time heartfelt. Yes. People's hearts have been opened. We've been brought at a level of awareness of the importance of ourselves, our health, our loved ones. And those of us that are in the relationship marketing business, is that not the premise of what we do every day? And
every day.
Would it not, it's not a surprise that all of our companies are exploding.
Exactly.
Because people are looking for community. They're looking for support. They're looking for outside of the box. We've all been, this is what we've done.
Yeah.
And so certain industries like ours are through the roof.
Exactly.
That, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're through the roof. Yeah.
You see it all the time. And people are grasping for more relationships. And fortunately, the computers are around so that we can do this sort of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is so cool listening to all this and all this interaction. I'm sure people are going to love this. So what is between the two of you? You can go back and forth. Tell us something that is extra special that you want to get out to, of value to people that you can think of. Maybe I'm not asking, and that comes to the top of your mind.
Well, right off the top of my mind, if you are an entrepreneur or a lifepreneur, we'd love to explore and share what you do with the world. So we see ourselves as the middle person to that. Come on to the True That show and come share your story and experience. So we're really about helping people get out there. Obviously, we'd love if there's anyone out there that wants to be an author in a book. I mean, there's such joy on being the participant in there. We have a package that we can send you, men, women, and couples. And so we are producing these books. This is what we do. It wasn't kind of a one time of. So just off the top of my head, we'd love to be able to engage you from a receiving or a giving. Come spend some time with me and Caroline. It's super fun. It's super fun. And I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but Caroline, did you want to maybe tell people how to reach us, or if you've got something?
Yeah. I'm always looking forward to this last question, like what's your future product, Jex, or something like that, because that's when I learn what we're doing next. Yes, so, and thank you for not adding anything today.
Well, I don't know if you want to tell people what we're working on, because that's really, that's up to you.
You too.
Well, actually, our next big project, we are working on the 3 books that are coming in 2021.
Okay.
Our next big project is a daytimer. And for me, like Deb and I are 2 paper girls. We love paper. And yes, I know that a lot of people are now all on their phone or tablet. We're not yet. We're still very paper. So we're going to design the ultimate daytimer for entrepreneurs. And we will give it a twist for network marketing as well. But, I think that whether you're in network marketing or not, there are things that you should really address in your daily discipline, in your daily routine. And I've been in corporate for years. I've been in nonprofit before being in network marketing. And there's one huge thing that, I think that when we develop business or we develop ourselves professionally, we don't pay enough attention to personal development and a lot of little side things that actually grow yourself personally. Because in life, whatever position you're after, whatever project you're after, you will never be able to grow something bigger than yourself. And I think this is something that Deb and I really want to put an emphasis on, and it's going to be in the daily, in the daytimer. And we really want to gather as well 50 to 100 different authors that will put their tell-all in that daytimer. So it's going to be a piece of gold. And yes, we're setting the bar super high, because first of all, we know we can achieve it. And second of all, we know the people who can come and contribute to that. And this is one of the beautiful things that happen with our network marketing business, but also the other projects that we developed. And I would also say, like, for the podcast, every message that is inspiring is worth sharing. Because I love a quote that I just read, well, not just, but that I read, that says, your story will be the survival guide to someone else one day. And that's why we need to share stories, and we need to share successes. And, sometimes, like, for me, before writing in the book, I was just like, who wants to hear what I have to say? But when I read that quote, it really, something clicked in me, because my survival guide was someone else's story that probably told themselves, like, why would I share?
Oh, so, you're right.
Yeah. So our mission is really that, share.
That's an excellent way for people to think of their life. You're either sharing a hardship that you went through that is turned around in a positivity way. And I think no one hears you when you say it negatively, but when you turn it to the positive of, I'm a winner, I'm a survivor, everyone is just grasping to hear the next word come out of your mouth. So I applaud the two of you for what you're doing. And I've got to listen to one of your podcasts now.
You need to come on our podcast.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I'll do that.
Yes, you need to come on our podcast, but you can find us on YouTube if you search the True That Show.
Okay.
Or we are also on every major podcast platform. So Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Spreaker, all of the major ones, wow. Google. So just search True That and you will find it. But really, it's the True That Show. And, leave us comments, leave us questions, send us suggestions. We're very, very open, and we love to hear what people think.
I love that. And we'll go ahead and put in a paragraph so that people can click on it. If you want to send me the links and that information, we'll do that.
Yes. Well, and very easy too. If ever you want to contact us, it's Deb and Caroline @gmail.com.
Oh, okay. That's great. Very easy. Super. And Caroline is Caroline. Got it. Yes. Cool. Well, thank you both for coming on today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share all this valuable information for people.
Well, thank you for having us.
And
absolutely.
Thank you. We'll talk again soon. Hope that this is helpful for entrepreneurs, wannabes, and all that stuff. We'll talk again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.